You remind me of many years ago when it was very hectic at home. People were hanging out outside my house and tearing pieces off the shrubbery, and the phones were ringing. And I had a request to come to speak at a college in Billings, Montana. And very small town. I think I'll go because thank you. I think I'll go because it'll be very quiet and I'll get to relax. And I like talking to college students. I find people interesting. So I agreed to this date, and I flew to Billings, Montana, where I'm looking forward to a very, very personal kind of experience with the students there. And I was driven to a motel after I landed at the airport. I was driven to a motel. People were waiting for me to put away my clothes and have a few minutes to myself. And I wasn't in the room more than 4 or 5 minutes when the telephone rang. And I couldn't imagine who would be calling me, but I picked up the phone and said hello. And a young female voice said, "Hi, is this Mr. Nimoy?" And I said, "Yes, it is." She said, "Oh my God, it's so exciting. I got you on the telephone. This is wonderful. Oh, I can't believe I've actually got you and I'm talking to you." I said, "Yes, you are." I said, "Who are you?" She said, "My name is Mary." I said, "Mary, where are you calling me from?" She said, "I'm calling you from Denver, Colorado." I said, "How did you find me?" She said, "Well, somebody called me, a friend called me and said you were going to be in Billings, so I called all the hotels and motels. There are only 3. So I said, "Well, I congratulate you on your resourcefulness." Thank you very much for calling, and thank you for your support. I'm glad you enjoy Star Trek and Mr. Spock. I've got to go. There are some people waiting for me, but thanks for calling. And we hung up, and I finished my business. 2 or 3 minutes later, I'm headed for the door. The phone rang again. Wow, this is really interesting. I picked it up. I said hello, and another thing. "Oh, hi, Mr. Nimoy. How are you?" I said, "I'm very well. How are you?" "Oh, I'm so happy to talk to you." And I said, "Who are you?" She said, "My name is Sally." I said, "Sally, where are you calling me from?" She said, "From St. Louis." "St. Louis? How did you find me?" She said, "My friend Mary called me from Denver." I don't know, something about Washington made me think about that. Okay, who's got a question? Yes, sir. Like that, I've done a lot of what? Coverage? Oh, coverage of songs? Yes. Yeah, okay. I did record several albums, long time ago. Thank you. You're the one who bought them. Thank you. While we were making the series in the 60s, somebody came to me from the management people.
Oh, in Scotland.
He bought one too. Bring it up here. Bring it up.
Sign it for you.
So they said there's a gentleman in New York who's going to record some music from Star Trek and put out an album, and your picture's going to be on the cover. And he wants to know if you want to be involved. And I thought, well, if I'm on the cover, I should be inside too. So that's how it began. I'm recording. If you don't mind, dude. Live long and prosper. So they said, I said I would like to record some stuff, and we put together. This album, oh come on. Put together this album, Mr. Spock's Music from Outer Space. There were I think 10 or 12 cuts on this album, and I'm on about 5 or 6 of the cuts. We did Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Earth. Where is Love? That's a pretty song, Where is Love?
Sing it.
Just sing it, please.
There was a piece on here called, I think I'm ducking the issue.
Yeah.
A piece on here called Visit to a Sad Planet, which became quite popular on radio and sold a lot of albums. And so they asked me to do some more. And we ended up doing about 5 or 6 albums. And I had a good time with it. And then, after we were all done with the albums, about a year later, the man who had produced them came to me with an interesting idea. He said there's a trilogy called the Ring Trilogy about the Hobbits. And so I read the books, and I'm talking about, I think around 1968 or 1969. About 40 years ago, we recorded the Hobbit song, Bilbo Baggins. And now I'm going to sign these, but this must stop. Okay. And it's still around. Have you heard it lately? What was it? In Middle Earth in the land of Shire, there's a brave little hobbit whom we all admire. Fuzzy woolen toes. He lives in a hobbit hole and everybody knows him. Bilbo Baggins, the greatest little hobbit of them all. That's it. Where's the young lady? Who's the... Are those yours? Okay. Boy, you're a lucky one today. Well, you can't have them.
Yeah.